Hey fam, if you're an OG to our channel, then you recognize this macaroni and cheese. This was the first macaroni and cheese video that we showed you guys on the channel, but it ended up having copyright music and we had to mute some spaces. So the video did not get the justice that it deserved. We're going to remix this video. And this macaroni and cheese is not made with an original cheese sauce. Also, last conversation on this video, we were talking about how macaroni and cheese can be overrated. Do y'all remember this conversation?
Let me explain. 2 seconds, okay? I'm making macaroni and cheese today. Let's be clear. Everybody loves macaroni and cheese, but I said it could be overrated, which it could be if you've had your mouth set on a macaroni and cheese that you may have seen a picture of, or you may have seen a video of, and you're like, oh my God, I gotta have it, I may want it. But then when you taste it, it's not what you expected. And that could be either because it wasn't cheesy enough, it wasn't juicy enough, and that's why I say that it could have been overrated, because it wasn't what you wanted. But we're going to do a macaroni and cheese today that you can't complain about, and it's going to be so good, so cheesy, and I'm excited. Make sure y'all comment down below if you know what I'm talking about. Don't laugh. We're going to get this video started, and make sure you go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the video, and roll with the fam. We're going to make this delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and start by cutting my pot on. I have a big old pot of water right here. We're going to boil some noodles, and I have some good old elbow box noodles. I have 2 boxes of those, so we're gonna go ahead and make 2 boxes. It's Thanksgiving, and this is gonna be a Thanksgiving macaroni and cheese also. And then what's gonna make this macaroni so cheesy is that I got 6 cheeses. I'm about to put up 7 fingers, but 6 cheeses. Yes. So that's the turkey over there, just marinating, waiting for this goodness of a macaroni and cheese. So the cheeses today are sharp cheddar, mozzarella, pepper jack, Velveeta. This is actually a switch up for me because I actually don't use Velveeta, but I wanted to switch it up this year and do something different with my macaroni. So comment down below if you're used to using Velveeta, and does it make it creamy for you or stringy for you? What does the Velveeta actually do for the macaroni? Because some people like it and some people have never tried it. Let everybody know. And then guess what, y'all? Some Gouda cheese. Now, if you don't know anything about this Gouda cheese, it's going to give it a nice smoky taste in the background, and you want to kind of have a mixture of your cheeses between a little bit salty, smoky, sharp, a little bit mild, and then the mozzarella is going to make it nice and creamy. So just try to get a mixture of different cheeses. You can use whatever you want, but so if you know or if you don't know, we have to have the shredded cheese on top of the macaroni, because that's going to give it a nice crust on top. Or 2 bags of those, because I'm going to try to make 2 pans. If it's too much macaroni, then I'll freeze the pan and then put it in the freezer. Something that you can put in your macaroni that you don't have to, but is a delicious added bonus, is some sour cream. So if you're like me and like to switch up your recipes from time to time, from your normal macaroni to something more different, put some sour cream in there. If you love sour cream on your tacos or anything else, you would love it in the macaroni too. Trust me. Now what's going to give that macaroni that extra juiciness that you need is some evaporated milk. Now you can use regular whole milk, half and half, heavy cream. You need the fattiness from the milk, okay? So use some evaporated milk, some heavy cream, half and half, whatever you have, and that's going to help you, okay? You need some eggs, at least 2. I grew up personally on the cheese sauce, and husband, he grew up with the cheese just cut up in your macaroni. So let me know which macaroni you like. Do you make a cheese sauce, or do you cut your cheese up in your macaroni and then it gets nice and cheesy? So comment down below. Everybody does this different, but the main goal is that it's going to be cheesy at the end. Come on over and watch me work. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these cheeses up, get everything nice and going. Because once I cut it up, everything is still stuck together. So just separate your cheese. And don't forget the Velveeta. It looks like a cream cheese style cheese with the packaging. Let's give this a try. Make sure you stir your noodles once you take them in the pot. And I just add a little bit of oil to my water so my noodles won't stick. Today's butter of choice is going to be this pure Irish butter. It's so good and flavorful. If you haven't tried it, go ahead and pick one of these up. I just put about 3 tads of butter in there and just go ahead and mix that around. So this way it's going to get a little tricky. So I done made 2 boxes of macaroni. I'm not going to use them 2 boxes of macaroni, although I thought I probably would have. So you have your ratio of how much noodles you're putting in to how much cheese you have. So if you're putting in more noodles and not enough cheese, then you're not going to have, you know, a good macaroni. So you want to make sure that your ratio of your cheese to your noodles to your liquid is good. Because if not, it's not going to come out the way you want to.
So right here, you see me adding in the noodles to the cheese, and I want to make sure that I add enough noodles but not overpower it. I want to be able to see more pieces of cheese in there. That way I'll know that it's going to be cheesy versus more noodly. And I'm still breaking up those chunky pieces of cheese to make sure everything is nice and evenly distributed.
I got a good ratio of my noodles to my cheese, and then make sure y'all mix that Velveeta cheese in good, because if not, it's just going to be real clunky. Okay, you want to make sure you have your cheese spread out evenly in the pan, so you know you'll have all the cheese in the middle of the pan but not on the edge of the pan. Okay, everything needs some love. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the liquid part of the macaroni and cheese done. So in the beginning I said that I wasn't making a cheese sauce, so this is the other way that you can make your macaroni, and this is the way that Daddy likes to make his. So we're gonna take 1 egg, and then not a lot of people use sour cream in their macaroni, but I like the flavor of the sour cream. It adds a nice little extra creamy taste to it. So let's do half of this. Take a whole can of my evaporated milk. Because you don't want to put too much liquid in it, because then it's going to be too soupy, and you want to make sure that when you make the macaroni, it gets a nice little firm feel to it for all the cheese to gel together, but not too dry where, you know, when you cut into it, you're not going to be able to see the cheese because you don't have enough liquid in it. So it has to be a nice little balance in between, and that's what you got to figure out, is the balance. And I honestly still struggle with this a little bit, but I feel like I've done it enough times where I kind of got the hang of it now. The liquid parts together, so that way it's easier when I mix it in the cheese. All I got to do is just stir it up and not have to worry about the egg not being mixed in all together. Sit in a separate bowl first and then add it to your macaroni. Are you getting what I'm saying now as far as it being cheesy like it's supposed to be and enough liquid like it's supposed to be? And we haven't even got to the seasoning part. And that's the main thing too, is making sure it's seasoned. So do not go anywhere. We almost there, but we getting there. But at least you seeing me eye to eye now. We seeing each other eye to eye.
Okay, so this is the scary part and the trickiest part of the macaroni because this will determine if your macaroni will be too dry or too liquidy, and you got to cook it for a long time at the end. So the trick is to add half of your mixture first, and then you're going to stir it up. Make sure you hear the creaminess from the cheese and noodles. And if you see a lot of liquid at the bottom, it doesn't have to be halfway up the pan. The key is that everything is coated first, and then you're going to run your spoon through the pan. If you still see a trail of milk on the bottom of the pan, then you're good. It doesn't have to be floating in milk. So once I see that it's not drenched in milk, then I can go ahead and add the remaining liquid. So generally 1 can of evaporated milk is all you need for this size pan. Alright, you guys, so the number one seasoning for the macaroni is some pepper. That pepper does the body good and it makes it so flavorful. So you want to make sure you add enough, along with some salt. And I just realized I didn't tell you how much Velveeta I used, but I made 2 pans of macaroni. So I cut off about a quarter piece of the block, which is less than half. Now, really quick, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, if you are a cheese lover and love the cheesy, creamy feel to your macaroni, then that Velveeta will do its job. But if you're the type of person where too much cheese is not good for your stomach, then you may want to go less on the Velveeta. Okay? FYI. And make sure you taste that macaroni. I did season to taste with salt and pepper. So make sure it tastes like something, but not too salty, because remember you have all of those cheeses in there. And then now we're going to go ahead and do the fun part. Top it off.
Add you some color on top of that macaroni. You can add you some paprika. Now, you know we're going to come in with the smoked paprika. It's going to add a nice smoky flavor to it. So that's what you want. Go ahead and do that. And we're going to go ahead and prep it for the oven. Now, listen, y'all. This is the hardest part. You got to leave it in the oven uncovered for 30 minutes. But no peeking, or you're going to get your hand popped if you keep opening up that oven. So after 30 minutes in the oven, look at it. It's looking so good and cheesy. Oh my God, y'all. Can you say, oh my God? That's right. So right now we're just leaving it in there for a little bit longer just to get some color on top until it get nice and golden brown. But y'all, what I'm saying right here is this is not the overrated macaroni and cheese. Yes, that's one of the best sounds is when you first take the spoon and lift up the macaroni, and then you can just hear the creaminess in it, and then you see the strings of cheese. Whew. Y'all, that's what you want to see. And again, this was not a cheese sauce recipe.